Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. Our Philippine journey, Mike and Arlen, here in the Philippines. Hey, look, tourism numbers are waning and in some instances significantly down. How does this impact you as an expat? How could it impact you? What does it mean? What is driving it? Well, we're going to try and answer a couple of those questions. So let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Okay. It's been in the news. It's been on TV. It's been online. All right. This massive decline in South Korean tourists. What is interesting is that they haven't said much about how this massive increase in Filipinos returning. Now, maybe this is still that post-COVID OFW rebound that we're seeing, that Filipinos are coming back to visit home and family and things like that. But in the links below, in the description, I will place a couple of links. The first one I'm going to give you is the link to the Philippine Department of Tourism, and it can allow you to look it up in multiple different ways. The year to year, the month, the comparison to last year, the different countries, all of the tourist arrivals. Okay. Number two, we're going to put in links to some news articles as well, just in case you've missed it and what they're saying is going on. And then number three, we're going to talk about the reasons why the Koreans might be dropping. So let's start with the first one. And the first one is that the numbers are in for April. And they've been in for about a week and a half now, actually. The South Koreans saw a 35% decrease in arrivals for April. There was a slight decrease last month, January, February, March. All right. But I think the reality here is that it's going to take, at least a full quarter to see if this is a kind of trend. The second issue here is the negative press and the warnings from the South Korean government. The South Korean government is warning its population of possible dangers in the Philippines, not to be taken lightly, not to go in dark places, not to travel alone, all the standard stuff that probably the U.S. State Department always says as well. Next, let's take a look at a couple of different things. First off, the Korean won, all right? Now, it is at a historic 16-year low in comparison to its leading indicators. This is directly from South Korea. Now, again, we could put this stuff up. We could tell you about this, but we're going to put the links below because we try and give you information that is relevant, number one, and then number two, reliability. How reliable is the information that we give you? So we try and give you the sources. Now, I looked at the Korean won. I don't consider it that low for sure, but perhaps it is, in their view, low. Where it's going and what's driving it, well, we don't know where it's going, what's driving it. According to the South Korean press, what's driving it is the future consideration of tariffs, all right? and the impact that tariffs are going to have on the economy. And then, secondly, they've had some pretty big political scandals in the past year, which has decreased, I guess, confidence in South Korea. So that's an issue as well. Now, let's talk for a second about why do the Koreans come here? Why are they involved in businesses and what it is? Well, we can give you a lot of different reasons. First off, it's a short flight. Second off, it's a cheap flight. Third off, their money spends extremely well. Their value for won or dollar, whatever you want to call it, is extremely good. Just like the Australian, British, American. Excuse me. Now, all of that being said, what we see it firsthand here in Angeles. We can tell you it is noticeable. We see the decrease already, or we see what is a possibility of that decrease. And I'm not going to be candy coating this, but between the shooting and unalive of Korean in Manila last month, all right, between the shooting and robbery and unalive of Korean here in Angeles, between the kidnapping of several Koreans in, I think it was in Manila, but it might have been Cebu, I can't remember which, that also has prompted people to think twice. But why do the Koreans come? Well, I will tell you. They come for vacation, number one, or they come to invest in businesses. Let's talk about the business side for a minute. They invest in businesses here because the vast majority of businesses in the Philippines are cash based. You know, the Philippines, even though it has electronic banking, it has electronic wallets, it has, modern stuff, the vast majority of the Philippines is a cash based system. And its electronic reporting of dollars or expenses and everything that goes along with it, that can sometimes be a little sketchy as well. So, they look at these businesses, and unlike some things, according to the United States Department of Labor or business or whatever it was, I was reading some articles to research all of this. Most businesses in the U.S., and I don't know how it is in other countries, but most businesses in the U.S. never even project a profit or break even for the first 6 months. And that probably works here as well because we see it. We actually see these clubs, these stores, these restaurants open and close within months under new management, new owners, new this. What was, I'm trying not to be, I don't want to sound racist, but what was Ling Chao's Korean barbecue is now Ming Ho's Korean barbecue. They'll go in, they'll remodel, they'll do this, they'll do that. These businesses turn over. Many of them do not turn a profit. The same thing happens with clubs, apparently, and the same thing happens with other businesses, services, and things like that. So, with all of those things being said, and we're going to do another video shortly about gambling, and the Koreans, the Japanese, the Taiwanese, the Chinese, they're all big gamblers. And so we're gonna tell you about research that we did. Okay, you can call it research, but we could call it a couple of different things about a recent experience with gambling here and the Koreans. All of those things said, how does this impact you, or could it possibly impact you as an expat? Well, We don't have a crystal ball. We can't tell you. But what we can tell you is this. If it continues for expats, you may find that your currency goes further, because at some point, the Koreans will conduct business just like almost everybody else. Filipinos conduct business a little bit different. They don't reduce prices for market concerns. The Koreans might. And what will happen is like, say, for instance, in Boracay or in Bohol or Cebu or Manila or Angeles, you may find basic living expenses drop in comparison to your currency. That's a big possibility. Only time is going to tell. We're going to have to watch what happens. I encourage you to hit the links below to go to the Department of Tourism, look at the actual numbers themselves. But a 35% drop is a monster in the Philippines for Koreans, because Koreans, like Australians, like Americans, spend money. And that is a huge deal. How will it impact that? Now, the only other piece of this is when you look at the arrivals, okay, you've got a significant increase of what the Philippines considers OFWs. The Philippines categorizes any Filipino that arrives in the Philippines, all right, returning to the Philippines as an OFW. For instance, Smooth Lee is currently vacationing in the Philippines. His wife is Filipino. She, I think, still has a Filipino passport, and she may have an American passport as well. I think she probably does. But she may arrive on her Filipino passport. When she arrives on her Filipino passport, she gets categorized as a returning OFW. So those numbers are up. Filipinos that are coming back post-COVID to visit family because they're just now getting around to it. Filipinos coming back to visit families. Filipinos moving back. All right. There's no, the Department of Tourism doesn't track the reason Filipinos return. They don't watch that. That's just Filipinos returning on a Filipino passport. So they deduct that number. I mean, it's in the major number, but it's deducted later for the grand total of tourists. They deduct them completely. So that number has gone up. Now, will we see something? How will the tariffs actually impact this? What will happen if the tariffs actually hit? I don't know. All I know is that apparently the Koreans are getting wary of violence, crime, and safety issues, and they are worried about the value of the won, and they are just tired of it. But we still need to do something about why so many Asians come to the Philippines. It's not just the beaches, and it certainly isn't the culinary delights. But that'll be in a different video. Otherwise, you tell us, do you think tourism and lack of, if it continues to decline, will have a major impact? Now, I will tell you that the vast majority of tourists coming from other countries has held steady or gone up. But their numbers are small compared to the Chinese, the Filipinos, the Chinese and the South Koreans. I don't know. What are your thoughts? You tell us. It's just an interesting tidbit of information. We hope you enjoyed this. Please do subscribe and hit the thumbs up.